presented by Cybereason with Hardy, Mike Dussault, and Paul Perillo, is your source for all the news and information following every Patriots game.
Shotgun snap to Mac Jones. Fires to the end zone. Caught at the goal line. It's a touchdown for Hunter Henry as the Patriots add to their lead.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I hope y'all keep that same energy for tonight, baby. Can't wait.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Slipping and sliding, he was like a cat. Pop, pop, bang. Now the Patriots lose an exciting game that was not exciting for much of it. Welcome into the Patriots Postgame show presented by Cybereason. The Patriots outscored 22-0 in the first half and then hold the Bengals scoreless in the second half. They put 18 on the board and were just yards away from the go-ahead touchdown when a Ramondre Stevenson fumble turned the ball over, and your final 22-18 as the Patriots fall below 500. They are now at 7-8 on the season. Welcome into the Patriots Postgame show. 855-PATS-500, webradio@patriots.com if you'd like to email the show. You could make the argument that the Patriots offense still, for the most part, did not show up, and that a couple of those touchdowns, one in particular, was the result of a desperation heave toward the end zone and the deflection. But the fact is the Patriots, seemingly out of this game at halftime when it was 22-0, came back, made it a game, and showed something. And I said in the pregame, I said, you know what, that kind of showed me something. And whether it was what I saw last week or just something within the makeup of this team, certainly defensively, they still have enough to hold good teams in check and give your team a chance if something can be sparked offensively. Had the Patriots offense been able to do anything in the first half, this is a ball game. This is a ball game that either goes to overtime or the Patriots have a chance of taking the lead in. But a 22-0 deficit against a team as good as the Bengals just proved to be too much for them to climb out of. And that's what we're left with here is a 22-18 loss at home on this Christmas Eve game at Gillette Stadium. Paul Perillo and Mike Dussault will be joining us here shortly. We'll get to the coach and quarterback here a little bit later. But I imagine you'll have a lot to say about this. So 855-PATS-500, webradio@patriots.com. We'll wait for Paul and Deuce to get here before we get to our keys to the game. Our good, the bad, and the injured. Keys to the game would really be more of a pregame type of thing. But keys to the game were to essentially from three of the four of us were to get to Burrow and pressure him early. That didn't really happen in the first half. The Bengals were able to move the ball pretty effectively in the first half, and the blitzing and the pressuring of Burrow, it wasn't enough to put them in a position where they felt uncomfortable. Now, Matthew Judon, the way he was celebrating, you would think that they were certainly holding them in check. But 22 points on a day when your offense, doesn't give you anything through the first 24 minutes or the first 30 minutes, I should say, of the game, it isn't quite enough. Second half, different story. And holding that Bengals team scoreless in the second half, I think you have to give the defense a lot of credit, and any optimism you may have had about this team going in started with the defense, and they certainly gave you a chance in the second half of that football game. Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo joining us now. An exciting game, guys. Exciting finish.
Who was? I'm still trying to wrap my head around. I turned to Paul.
Extremely exciting.
We're going down the elevator. I'm like, did Ramondre Stevenson just fumble the game-winning touchdown away on that last play?
I was suggesting that the Bengals should let him score.
Well, let me tell you something. Once the Bengals challenged the spot of what would have been a first down.
That's not a challenge. That's a booth challenge.
A booth review in the last 2 minutes. Thank you, Paul. I knew that.
I thought the Bengals were screwed when that play went against them. Like, they moved the ball back. That gave them another play to get a first down, took the timeout. Like I said, this is it. They're going to score. There's not going to be any time left. I thought that totally worked to the Patriots' advantage.
Except it didn't, because I think the Patriots – well, no.
Right.
But here's why. As they put themselves in that third and very short situation, the Patriots seemingly called plays, number one, to pick up a first down, which they did.
Right.
But I'm thinking, why treat this like you need a first down? You need a touchdown. Why not take a shot at the end zone here? Why not try and find Kendrick Bourne again? Yeah. Why instead run Ramondre Stevenson?
That's a very fair second guess.
Well, it's not. It was a first guess in the moment.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like you're saying, I question the strategy. Yeah, I think you that's a very logical way of looking at it. They should have kept the pedal in the metal and said, we're going to score regardless.
Oh, God, now we need a first down? Okay, well, let's give it to Ramondre and run him up the middle for a half a yard gain. So what? I don't care about first and goal. You have to go ahead and take a shot at the end zone even on 3rd and inches. What are we doing? You're lucky to be only down 4 at this point, and I think you would have, A, caught them off guard, and B, you would have been playing to what very little strengths you have on offense right now, which is some kind of desperation heaves either toward the sideline or the end zone. Yeah. That's all they had. Guess what? I don't mean to sound negative. They still don't have an offense. I don't care what we saw out there. There's still they still don't have an offense.
I know we're going to get into good, bad, and the injured, and I know there's going to be a lot of talk about all the different things. This was exciting as all hell.
Yes.
Okay. I would be able to get a little bit more excited if I thought the Patriots did anything to really create the excitement. I think the Bengals, and I know people are gonna, and I'm prepared for it for the whole post-game show. I know you guys are gonna make fun of me, not just you two, but the listeners, if we have any on Christmas Eve.
Right.
The Bengals just completely did everything that they could over the span of the last 20 minutes of that game to just hand it to you.
Yes.
It's nothing. I'll give the Patriots credit for, it's 3rd down. The Bengals, it's 22-0. The Bengals easily convert the first down. There's a hold. Makes it 3rd and 1, 3rd and 11. And then they emptied the barrel, and they gave a zero blitz, and Burrow just threw it without looking off his back foot, and Marcus Jones makes the pick. If that play doesn't happen, you lose that game 35-0. You never stopped the Bengals the whole game. I know that they didn't get any points in the second half. That was all the Bengals' fault. All the Bengals' fault. You miss a field goal, you drop a touchdown, you don't get a 3rd and inches, you punt on 4th and inches and get a delay of game. I would be more excited about the comeback if I thought the Patriots had something to do with the comeback. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. I hear what you're saying, Paul, and I don't even need to kill Cincinnati's offense. I'll just kill the Patriots' offense. What they got was a deflected 38-yard
That's what I'm saying. If I thought the Patriots, Bengals, they were the Bungles, and you still let them win. They were the old-time Bungles today, and you still let them win.
The way they came out on both sides of the ball, it just seemed like a carryover from how last game ended, and I can't quite wrap my head around that they would blow a second game with Ramondre Stevenson again directly involved in the closing minutes when they, snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
So why don't we get to that before we continue, right? Why don't we get to good, bad?
Sure.
Yeah, before we get to the 3rd down call, which was supposed to be a screen to Ramondre, and I said, oh, my God, it's the same position on the field. It's the same thing about to happen. Thank goodness he just dropped the pass this time. We didn't have to watch that unfold. Boy. All right, here we go.
Now it's time for the good.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
The bad.
Hey, what happened?
And the injured.
You all right, guy?
Good, the bad, and the injured, brought to you by the good players, bad players, and the injured players in the 22-18 loss to the Bengals at Gillette Stadium today. Deuce, who's your first good?
I think there's gonna be a lot of qualifiers on a lot of these, but I'm gonna put Kendrick Bourne on there. He had 100 yards, but just instrumental in the comeback. Got the first 3rd down conversion of the game. It took him until the 3rd quarter to get a 3rd down conversion. Caught that 32-yarder. So that was a big one. Setting up the first TD of the game. So, I think he had
plus a 29-yard run.
Yeah, he had a nice game. Not a lot to write home about offensively, but he was one piece. Six catches, 100 yards. So nice day for him.
I absolutely had him on my list of goods, and he made some, because some of the plays he made were not easy. There were some difficult catches that he made.
Correct.
Contorting his body, getting in bounds. On the one on the sideline, the Bengals challenged. The one even in the end zone. He was pretty well covered in the end zone. So, I think Kendrick Bourne was one of the very few. I don't have a lot of goods today.
I don't have a lot of
I'll tell you
goods
that.
either.
Neither do I. I just say sorry, Hardy. I didn't mean to cut
But
you
he's
off.
one that I had. I agree with you,
I
Mike.
just say this game is just frustrating because I think you just see that it's just an example today of this guy's a more talented receiver than whatever he's got this year. 20 catches. I don't even
that's
know.
another
It's
good
just
point.
This guy can make plays. It's just you don't have an offense right now that can consistently get him the ball.
Now, Paul, as is our custom, you get the next good. But if you take my only one legitimate good, it's going to be a very short good list.
Okay, then I'm pretty sure I won't then.
Okay.
Like I said, I have a very small list.
Okay.
And I'm going to put Matthew Judon on it just for 4.
Okay. Yeah.
Good.
Is that it?
That's
Did I steal
no,
it?
no,
oh,
no, no,
okay.
no.
I mean, sometimes you get on for one play. Like, it was desperation time. It's 3rd and 4. They throw a quick pass out to Jamar Chase, and Matthew Judon strips him. You get on for one play sometimes when it's that important of a play. They were dead. They were lifeless. They had to come up with a play, and he made it. I don't think he was really all that good in the game. I know he had a sack, but I didn't think I thought Burrow was very comfortable in the pocket all day for the most part. And this play that he gets the ball back for the Patriots offense was an enormous play. Enormous play.
And yes, he absolutely is on my good list. He's not my only one legitimate, but that one play in particular, he was motioning someone in the secondary back with his left hand, which I didn't know if he was telling him to stay back. I think what he was saying was, no, actually, I'm staying back on this one. I'm going to spy either the quarterback or where the pass goes, if it's a screen. And he was there to make the play. I thought he missed the tackle at first. But
I mean, if he doesn't fumble.
Dicey.
If he doesn't fumble, he does miss the tackle.
Yeah, I guess.
It's a tough ask
but
for
you make a play, and he had a couple of sacks, and I'm growing a little weary of the wiping of the mouth after the sack, especially when you're down 22-0 in the first.
I thought there was some. We could probably get to that later. I thought there was some exuberant celebrations for a team that was getting their asses beat.
Thank you.
Throughout the first half and even into the third quarter.
I got it.
Really, you look at some of the. 28 first downs, 442 yards of 8 for 16 on third downs. The Bengals did whatever they wanted.
I know.
They just every once in a while they stop themselves.
And I'm happy that you sacked Joe Burrow for a couple of times. He completed 40 passes, 4-0. He threw 375 yards and 3 touchdowns.
They didn't get to him early.
You know what's
often,
funny?
or
It
late.
didn't seem like that. It was that many, like 52 pass attempts.
I know.
40 for 52.
I know. It didn't seem like
a lot of
it.
just taking what's there. I mean, I think.
But
that's
then again,
a common
do you remember them running the ball a whole lot?
No, but when they did, it was reasonably effective. Like Joe Mixon, I thought was good enough.
Oh yeah. Can we do a good list for the Bengals? Actually,
No.
that wouldn't be all that
No,
long
we can't.
either. I mean, you have a few players, but it's not like up and
No,
down.
they
the
had
roster.
they had some really, really, really dumb play. That's the anatomy of how you lose a game today.
Oh yeah.
Like with the Bengals, some of the stuff the Bengals did in the second half.
But do you think it's a sign of a team that they mess around, they play kind
Well,
of bad?
I do think
but
that
then
they got a
just
little,
kinda-
but like Jamar Chase drops what would have been a big play, maybe a touchdown. T. Higgins drops a touchdown. They ended up getting a touchdown shortly thereafter. Yeah. And then the other kid,
slot receiver
Irwin,
kid
drops a
that's dropped
touchdown.
one too.
Like, it's the NFL. You don't have that many chances to drop touchdown passes and win games. No. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not talking like there was a play that Chase had in the first half where he tried to catch one with one hand. He was behind Jonathan Jones and tried to catch it, but I'm not counting that. Like, that should have been a touchdown too.
I said it. Oh my God, Paul.
Yeah.
It's the one thing. There's a couple of things that are going to force you to stop watching sports. Receivers insisting on catching the ball with one hand might force me to stop watching football for a time. The Bengals could have been up, I'm not exaggerating, 30-0.
Oh God, they could have had such a big
If
lead
they
in
had
that game.
just there were two. Now one of them they ended up scoring. The last touchdown they scored, they ended up scoring anyway.
Right.
But it wasn't Chase. It was someone else down in the.
Higgins dropped one in the end zone, and then,
you want to know why?
Then later they threw another touchdown to Irwin on the other
So
side.
we saw Chase try to one-hand one. Do you know why Higgins dropped his? He's trying to one-hand it.
I thought it hit him in both hands.
Do you know what? Do you know why he was trying to one-hand it? I don't know. Style points, ESPN.
See,
I don't know.
I think Chase tried to one-hand it because Jonathan Jones had the other. But
He did not. I watched it. It's look. He has it for his second, but the hand comes loose.
Yeah.
These guys, and it's league-wide. It's an epidemic. They're trying to catch these balls one-handed. For what?
So I didn't steal your good.
For what?
I didn't steal your good. So
No.
Who's your good?
Oh, Marcus Jones.
Yeah.
Marcus Jones first of all,
Didn't make my list.
Yeah, he
with,
didn't.
With the caveat that he gave up a lot of catches.
A lot of that 375 was on Marcus Jones, man.
Well,
and that's what he's out there for.
Okay, but here's the
No,
thing:
I
when you give up that many completions, you get a lot of tackles. So he led the team in tackles.
Yeah, he's not on my bad list.
No,
he's not on my bad list simply for the 2 plays.
Come on, he's
the run after the pick was unbelievable, and the run on the little screen pass was unbelievable.
Yes.
Like 2 unbelievable plays.
and the recovered fumble too.
Yeah, I don't like
Johnny on the spot.
Yeah, that's like. Again, he's not on my bad list.
No.
I'm just saying.
No, I know.
I asked him to cover guys. He couldn't do it.
You know what? But he's doing so much. He's out there. He's returning punts. He's returning kick. Well, there weren't that many punts. He's returning kicks. The pick 6. He's making tackles. I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, I'm not arguing with you. I'm not. I'm certainly fine.
He fumbles the ball, but he recovers the fumble. I mean, what do you want from him?
What do you want from him? But I had made the comment, like, because the Patriots have had, like, he became the first guy since Jules to have an offensive touchdown, a defensive touchdown, and a special teams touchdown in the same season, right? What he's doing is, so, in my opinion, just my opinion, so much more impressive than what, like, Troy Brown and Jules did, because his impact on offense is far greater than their impact was on defense, in my opinion. Again, just my thought. What Marcus Jones is doing, plus all of that as a rookie, is borderline goddamn ridiculous. I mean, like, he has been unreal to be doing some of the things that he's doing.
I think it's funny that Paul purposely stayed away from what he knew my only good would be, and it wasn't on his good list.
No, I didn't know what your only good would be. That's why when I said Judon, I didn't know if you.
What?
I didn't. I really didn't know.
Okay. All right.
I was hoping I stayed away from it.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, those. I mean, the Patriots have no sniff in that game without his pick 6.
Yeah. Okay.
No sniff.
Oh. All right. Let's.
And it was an amazing run.
Oh, that's the thing that gets. I mean, the pick itself was just.
The pick was thrown to him.
Right to him.
But it's a 69-yard run. That was incredible.
Bossman Fred Kirsch joining us now as we've gone through our first round of goods here with Kendrick Bourne, Matthew Judon, Marcus Jones, which not everyone had on their good list. Did you have him on your good list?
I did.
Okay. All right,
But
Fred.
Do you have anybody to add other than those 3?
You got a
We
good?
just started, Freddie. So
Who did you have?
Marcus Jones, Matthew Judon, and Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, I was going to say Bourne. Yeah, I guess.
All right. We'll
I
go,
mean,
we'll go
the
back to
defense
Deuce.
played.
No, you get yourself
No,
settled.
I'm
Terrible.
up. I'm
Oh, you're done?
tapped.
Okay.
I'm tapped.
Yeah, I had Myers just because I thought he was his typical, like, really hard-nosed, tough self. I know his numbers were good, but that's really inflated by a fluke Hail Mary. And I had there was only one guy on defense that I thought did anything worth a damn, and that was Jawan Bentley. I thought he was really active in the game and filling holes. The rest of the defense was completely and utterly overmatched. Utterly overmatched.
Yeah,
They had no shot.
I flirted.
Even in the second half?
No shot.
I flirted with Bentley a
No
little
chance.
bit. I just point
No
the
chance.
pass breakup, the first stop they got. Like, I thought that was a big play. But I flirted with Bentley. I didn't really technically put him on, but I flirted with him a little bit.
Oh, it's just a
saying.
little,
Just saying.
little slap and tickle.
Well, hold on. Why didn't they
Are
have
you
a
going?
chance in the second half?
They couldn't stop him.
They didn't score any points.
Yeah, I know. We all know how that unfolded.
How?
Well, a guy dropped a touchdown pass. They missed a field goal. They had a 3rd down and 1 that they ended up getting called back and had to end up punting. Like, there was, like, they did I mean, Fred, the numbers speak for themselves.
Well,
I
no,
mean,
I
8 for 16 on 3rd down, 442 yards.
I think they
couldn't stop him.
I kind of agree with Fred, though, in that keeping points off the board does count for something. And as much as
if you do something to keep them off the board, I would agree. When the other guy drops a touchdown in the end zone, you didn't do anything to keep the points off the board.
Okay.
That's like, if they just came out in the second half and it was a complete role reversal, I would say, wow, I don't know what they did. To me, I was stunned. The first drive of the second half, when they just did the same exact stuff they did the whole first half, I was like, what did they talk about at halftime?
When you had the last real possession that they had, and as I was watching, I said, they got to turn this ball over before the 50. If they get across the 50 and there's less than 3 minutes on the clock, the game is over.
Right.
And they turned it over. So it's like that's doing something.
That's why I put That's why I put Matthew Judon on the good list.
But he's on the defense.
But that was the play. I said sometimes you get on for one play.
Okay.
And I put him on.
I think they showed a little something. When you don't.
Well, it was
force
better in the second half than the first half,
okay,
for sure.
Yeah, when they don't punt it all in the first half, and then you at least. I'm not saying they forced 3 punts, but when the other team does have to punt at least 3 times in the second half, the defense gets some credit.
They showed
for
some fight in the second half. The defense did.
One of them was the last try. You don't really think that they would, like, if they just threw the ball, they would have had the 3 and out, do you? Like, they're just running the ball to run the clock out and make them take their time out.
I was making my way down here at that point, so I didn't even see that.
One of the punts was kind of kind of a concession by Cincinnati.
I was fighting my way through the crowd, which I left the booth and the crowd left right after the Stevenson fumble. That was it.
That's a good time to leave.
All right, so we should just go right to the bad.
All right, let's go to the bad.
Yeah, let's just go right to Stevenson. I just go back to early last year when he got benched early on. We're like, where's Stevenson been? He fumbled once, and we haven't seen him in 2 weeks. Not to connect it totally, but just how do you do this 2 weeks in a row at the end of the game with the game? The game is in your hands, and twice. I don't want to put it all on him because I think the offense came out absolutely like trash with how they performed in the first half. But this is just it's unfortunate because he's had one of the few really good seasons of offensive players on the Patriots right now, and he's cost them 2 games with stupid decisions that cannot happen. They just this cannot happen.
Let's not blame him for last year.
Well, last year. No, I didn't say last. I'm just in the last 2 games. The last 2 games he's made stupid decisions. I'm not blaming him for last year. I'm just saying last year.
I was actually that's a good point. I'm sorry. I was thinking of the Miami fumble, like his first game.
Right. And remember we were like, oh, that's so why does he get fumbled? And it's like, well, it's just weird now that all of a sudden here we are. He's got a bunch of good games, and then all of a sudden we see critical fumble
issues.
And
I fought back on that against some guys. He might have a fumbling problem. Like he had the one against Buffalo, not the one on the handoff, the one on the little screen he dropped. He had one today.
That went out of bounds.
Yep. Right. Well, it was the first play after halftime.
Yeah.
Right? Like
he might have a little bit of a fumbling.
And I don't even know if it's a fumbling. Maybe this is but it's mental.
Can
right?
I do what I do best, real quick?
Yes.
We'll get with the bads and everything, and you guys can call me a
random assortment of plays that you're going to rattle off right in a row.
Just a random time where I like to beat the ever living crap out of the officials.
Oh yeah, go.
At what point is it forward progress?
Yeah, I know. He gets pushed back.
I'm not trying to say sunshine.com. You know that. You guys know me well enough. I'm not doing that.
No.
But I've seen that play blown dead many times.
Oh, yeah.
Watch.
Well, usually
he gets hit, and he's getting pushed back like 3-4 yards.
But, Paul, not often enough because we sit here especially.
I mean, that's not forward progress.
No,
I mean,
right
he's still fighting for yards, but Fred said right away, he definitely loses the ball, but did the whistle blow? I think that's what Freddie said.
Was it forward progress?
It comes up most often when we're sitting here watching the away games. We're like, would you blow that play dead? The guy's going to get killed.
Right.
Stop it already. The play's
And I do think that they afford quarterbacks that more so because the quarterback isn't fighting for yards.
Yes.
Whereas a running back is fighting for yards. But I don't know. I've seen this play called forward progress before. So I'm just going to beat the crap out of the officials because that's what I do best.
While we're here with the video, can I just ask, did you see what Mac did to get the penalty after this whole
I
thing?
Didn't, but I
keep watching.
Did you see it? I didn't see that, Mike, but I saw a very cheap play that Mac got away with on that play where it was disputed whether or not he fumbled on the intentional grounding. Mm-hmm. The player for the Bengals returned that for a touchdown.
Right.
And he just dives at a guy's legs, 20 yards behind the play, first of all, it's a penalty that they didn't call because you can't take a guy's legs out, even as the defensive team. And it's that's an attempt to injure. You're diving at a guy's legs.
Mac's pulling guys off
so
here.
Mac's going in there.
You cannot
pull. You're not allowed to do that.
You're not allowed to pull guys off the pile.
Oh,
so this probably isn't.
I think somebody got pushed.
So this isn't
all of a sudden here's when you see all the flags come out when that Bengal goes flying.
If you got called for just pulling guys off the pile, that's not a cheap shot, but that's a penalty.
But no, it seems like this guy maybe 21 here.
And I'll tell
back
you,
and to the left.
That's an underrated penalty too, by the way, because they just ran the ball 3 times. You know that. So instead of making the punt from the end zone, you gave them 15 yards.
Yep.
Well,
that could be a big difference.
I'm just gonna jump in here with my first bad, and
Go ahead.
It's the offense. There's still no offense when you're in that position and you're down there. And I started talking about this before we started the list, Fred. When the challenge comes from up above, and they said they actually didn't pick up the first down there. Okay, now we're 3rd and inches. I say that screwed up the Patriots because I think whether it's Matt Patricia or Mac Jones or somebody, they say to themselves almost inherently, well, we got to get the first down. And I say, no, you don't. You need a touchdown. but they run that stupid play that gets a couple of inches for Ramondre Stevenson, and that gives them the first down. So what? Time is ticking.
No, but we had plenty of time.
Oh,
time was on our side.
Sure,
Right.
and just like before you scored,
We had all 3 timeouts.
And I'm going to
before you score the last touchdown, and there's 7 minutes, 6 minutes, and it's a play, and then it's a huddle, and let's wait for the play to come in, and you're standing there, and I'm watching the clock. I'm like, you guys don't have that much time.
Oh, wait, there was plenty. You had a new set of downs, all the time in the world. Time wasn't a factor.
If you want to go with your momentum thing, I think I agree with you on that.
Momentum more so than time.
They had him on the run, throw it into the end zone.
So why go for a first down? What's the point? Take a shot at the end zone.
Because if you don't get it, then it's fourth down.
Right.
And now the game comes down to one play. You don't want that.
But you can run that same play when the game comes down to one play and have just as much success with it.
Or you could run the play like they did on the first down
Right.
play.
I
mean, even if he doesn't fumble, we lost 3 yards.
That is the point. They don't have anything other than that play. They really don't. They have desperation shots.
I think it's a good second guess by Hardy.
I liked where they were sitting. I mean, you had a chance. You made the Bengals blow all their timeouts. So even when they got the ball back, they were going to have no timeouts, and you had a fresh set of downs. So let's say you don't get it on the first try. You get it on the second, third try running the ball. They're not going to have much time, and believe me, if Burrow has the time, he's going to beat you.
Yeah.
So
you're right. I said
don't
it. I
know
would have
that
let them score if I was Cincinnati.
I don't know that they were going to beat you the way they were playing, the way they were beating themselves in that second half. And I tell you, if there's any momentum in that game and you have it as the Patriots offense, stop huddling, stop taking all that time. And even at the end, when the game is pretty much over, they get called for a delay of game because they're waiting for a play to come in.
That's inexcusable.
What are you doing?
That was bad. That was bad.
There's no offense.
No, listen.
They can't run an offense.
Listen,
there is no
Hardy,
offense.
it was so bad in the first half. After the third drive, I called for Zappe.
Well, you were not.
That's something.
You were
no,
not
I know,
alone.
but I've always been against that. What's he gonna do? It's crazy. I called for Zappe.
Well,
because it looked that bad.
I thought I heard you amongst the chorus of people calling for Zappe.
Now he looked a little better in the second half, and I just wonder, how much of this is coaching? Because all of a sudden, here's Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah.
Where the hell's he been? It's like
it's there. I mean, they're better. I've always thought they're better than what they play.
Let Matt cook.
Let
Matt cook.
Yeah, I don't think Matt can cook. I gotta be honest with you. I don't even think he was great in the second half. I think you take out the 48-yard Hail Mary and he throws for 200 yards and a touchdown.
And Fred, Paul, I know what you're saying. I understand about the clock. I understand that the Bengals had used their timeouts, and it's a minute and you're close. The way this offense runs, or the way this lack of an offense runs, it's not enough time. They need so much time to essentially do nothing. So maybe it doesn't matter.
But they had 3 timeouts, Hard.
But they need every single second, and we've seen them use timeouts and then have to use another one on top of it.
Listen,
because they can't get a play in.
If they blow it, okay, but for a normal NFL offense, you were in perfect position.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the key phrase that you just made, though, Freddie, a normal NFL offense.
Right.
Because, I was talking to our buddy Evan as as it was going, and I'm thinking of it in terms of exactly what Fred's talking about. Mike, you make fun of me. I've been in these, I can do this, right?
It's like chess.
So I'm like, okay, if you're a good offense, you're not only scoring, you're doing so as methodically as you can. But that makes a big assumption.
That you can score.
That you're going to score.
Right.
And I don't think they knew they were going to score.
And I think that's why it was driving me nuts when they were still down 2 scores, and it's 7 minutes, and they burned 45 seconds in between plays. I'm like, you know what? This team, the only way they can reasonably move the ball is via 6-yard checkdowns. And it takes so much time to do that. You can't be huddling and waiting for the play to come in and have it. and Mac up there calling out the middle linebacker. Just snap the ball and do
snap
something
it.
different.
I know. Let's face it.
Snap
If the Patriots had pulled this out, we would have been calling it the Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
There you
the
go.
tip ball to Myers,
absolutely,
the fumble,
And
the missed extra points. I mean, all of that had to add up to make this possible.
They didn't. I mean, I don't want to say that I didn't want them to win, but it just felt like you're going to be handed this game.
I don't care about that. I wanted to win, but
you
would have been the
want to
Christmas
win,
miracle.
but it would have been
But
one
it
of
would've
those
just
wins
been
that
like-
people would have. I know
it's
what
the
Mike
win
is
that
talking
everybody's afraid of right now, which is that they were going to pull something out of their butts, and then they were going to point to this in the
Right.
offseason and be like, "Well, against Cincinnati, we
And
put
like
two
I s-
drives together at the end of the game,
and
so
like I
that's why
said-
we're going to run it back."
Like I said, if all of a sudden they came out in the first drive of the second half and it was like 8 plays, 75 yards, touchdown, 3 and out, followed by 12 plays, 75 yards, that's a comeback.
Yes.
This, I don't even know what to like. I think Fred's right. The Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
Like there was literally
Right.
17 things that.
Pinball,
I mean,
touchdown.
What was it? It was 3rd and what? 30
with the touchdown.
on that play.
It was
Not to
3rd and
mention,
24.
not to mention
3rd
that.
and 24.
Like I haven't. I mean, other than you guys, I haven't met anybody that didn't think that was a fumble. But
with Mac.
yeah, on that play, like I mean, the ball was clearly out of his hands before it started going forward. But anyway,
No, false.
even with that, Cincinnati's probably just sitting there. Yeah, just make sure we don't commit any penalties.
Right.
It's going to be 4th and 1,000,000, and then you let the guy get 2 hands on the ball in the goal line. It bounces off of them right to Myers.
Fred, if
Wow, like Fred's, that's exactly right. It would have been the Christmas miracle, and people would have been thinking, I thought Matt couldn't come back.
Right.
Like it only would have covered up the real problems.
Oh man.
Okay, if it were the Christmas miracle, let's create the meme right now. The 3 wise men would be Bill Belichick, Matt Patricia, and I would like to nominate Jerry, who is sitting next to the owner today. I think that would make a nice meme of the 3 wise men.
No, Jerry was the little drummer boy.
Just because he's the
he
new.
was like the extra.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right.
Hello, Jerry.
Would you admit this, Fred?
Yeah.
If the Mac Jones non-fumble, in your estimation, was it at least fumbly? Was it fumble-ish?
Oh no, Fred said it was close. He did.
I thought it was close.
We were watching it
But
together, and we were just split
I thought
on it.
he had possession in the the ball went out.
I think it's an empty hand. I think the ball wasn't in his hand when he came forward.
Slow-mo does not do him any favors.
No, but I thought it did. I thought it did. He clearly had the ball and it came out, but had already started its forward motion.
I think there was one of those that they, if they had called that a fumble on the field, I think they would have stuck with it because I think it was really close. I think Fred's right. I think it was really close. And to me, I thought his hand was empty when his.
Well,
when
you
he
thought
started
the
forward.
Bourne catch wasn't a catch.
Yeah, I was not the catch itself. I thought he caught it. Everybody was fixated on whether or not he had the ball when he was on the ground. To me, he clearly caught it. I didn't know if he had fully secured the ball when that first foot was on the ground.
Right.
If you compare it to the
That was
Hunter Henry touchdown,
Exactly.
it's the same play.
Yeah. Now I thought the
It's the
Hunter
same
Henry
play.
play was a catch.
And I think they're
So,
both catches.
I'm very consistent. The catch part to me didn't bother me. I didn't know when he watch this right here. Right here,
He's got it,
I
and
didn't know if
two.
he had that first foot when he had actually secured. The
but he
ball
did.
hits his hands right here, but I don't know if
Foot
that's
down,
like
other
his
foot
foot
down.
immediately goes up. Oh,
Yeah.
Fred, he gets his 2 feet down. I don't think there's any argument. It's whether or not he fully had control of the ball when that foot comes up immediately.
Yeah, but after he had control.
They're declaring that he has control of the ball as soon as it hits his glove.
That's right.
I think that was really close.
I
would like to see that play called a catch every time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Unfortunately, the rest of the league disagrees with me because Hardy's right. That play has been called incomplete at least 15 times since the Hunter Henry play.
Yeah.
That play has been called incomplete more often than not lately, and that should be a catch 100 times out of 100.
So that's how you can live with this loss. That one, I don't know if that one really holds up as a catch, half the time even.
That's a catch to me.
But
every
I
time.
think it is.
But-
but whatever.
I'm very consistent. When these guys make unbelievable plays to like contort their bodies,
Here's what I'm saying.
catch the ball. That's a catch.
They ruled it not a catch, or did they rule it out of bounds?
No, they ruled him out of bounds.
They ruled him out of
Bill was
bounds.
furious.
So
Remember? He
if
threw-
if all they're
Well, he was furious because he had to challenge it. Like, why are you
I
furious
know.
at that?
I don't get like.
he's furious because he can't find his sock, or
No, he
because
was
the
just-
flag.
No, he was screaming
He
at
was
the guy.
really mad. He threw the flag
know, I
down
know.
disgustingly.
Guys, he's
But
watching
you
what we're watching.
you can live with it because of that, and also the holding call that you got down the left sideline, I believe on this same
On
drive.
Thornton, right?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
Well, listen.
There was nothing there on that, right?
Because there was nothing to see.
He never even he never even touched him, let alone held him.
He may have hooked a finger inside his jersey. I don't know what the ref called. I don't know why they called it.
It didn't happen. So they're now 7 and 8.
It didn't happen.
So 9 and 8 still on the table, Fred.
Yeah,
that's your favorite.
It is.
That's your favorite line after every loss.
Two big tough ones.
Okay, let's.
Can I say one more thing? Piggyback.
Paul hasn't even done a bad
We haven't
yet.
really done any bad yet. What do you got?
Well, you had said bad offense. I just wanted to say, like, the first 4 possessions, it was a 3rd and 4 punt, 3rd and 6 punt, 3rd and 5 punt, 3rd and 5 punt. Like,
and
these are downs that you got to make. Like 3rd and 5, it's not.
Meanwhile,
like, we're in 3rd and 14.
Those possessions the other way went 5 for 78 and a touchdown, 9 for 59 and a touchdown, 10 for 41 and a field goal with a drop touchdown in the middle of that, and then 12 for 80 and a touchdown. So while you were punting every single possession, they were scoring every single possession. Like it was total domination. It was not even. Like, it wasn't even. It was like a homecoming game. It wasn't even like 2 NFL teams playing.
It had the makings of one of those games where the other team comes to Foxborough and it's freezing cold and we put 50 on them. You know, that's the way it used to be.
And I just thought, like, the whole thing, to your point, Mike, about the offense and then the defensively, like, the coverage was off. They're letting guys run. They're giving everything underneath. Every time they ran deep, they got open deep. T. Higgins was open deep. They're calling timeouts because they don't have the proper personnel out there. First drive of the game.
Yeah, right.
They're getting caught off. The first 2 drives were just awful.
The 39-yarder to Higgins, like right off the bat, like second play of the game. It was just like, here we go. This is what they're going to do. They're going to target Marcus Jones down the field on those big receivers.
Yeah.
And
then they missed the extra point, the second extra point by McPherson, and Okwale gets a personal foul. Because now they ended up stopping it, but they ended up, just
another 10 penalties today.
There was probably 8 different things worthy of bad on on those drives defensively.
Let me tell you something. Before the Trent Brown false start there, I saw him a couple of plays earlier. And I'm like, oh, he's checked out of this game. You can just tell from the body language sometimes from that guy. And I'm like,
the behemoth.
Yeah, we are overdue for a false start or a lazy hold or something from Trent Brown. And sure enough, a few plays later it popped up. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought I saw. As he was kind of, just kind of like skirting the outside of the huddle, like, are we still doing this? Are we still playing?
I think I was afraid that this was going to be like one of those kind of pull-out wins like that. But, like, ultimately it ended up being a totally 2022 characteristic Patriots loss of this is them, right? Like, as much as it was about to be this, like, out-of-character thing where they pulled it out, it was them.
All right. Other specific bads. We
just
need to comment
the secondary
on.
in general, I didn't think was competitive in the game. I didn't think they had anybody covered all
I
day.
I just think they were overmatched.
They're
just not as good.
You're right.
I mean, they were overmatched.
That's what happens when you have a quarterback who can throw the ball to receivers who can.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
Between
like this
Burrow
whole,
and
how great the defense is against these backup quarterbacks
and 2 of his receivers, that's the type of talent where you can just put it up and say, "Here, you go get that." Yeah. And
he had like 3 of them.
Yes,
there was the one to Chase down in our corner.
They just showed one of them too. That was just.
And then he had just like a routine like 15-yard out, 12-yard out in the second half, where he threw the ball like a day and a half before Chase even broke to the outside.
The one to Chase down in your corner, he threw that ball so early, and I don't think Chase had even made his cut yet, and the coverage was there, but Burrow just trusted him. He said, "You know what? If I put it over there, he'll
throw him open."
He was open.
He didn't even have to throw him open, Fred.
He's open.
That spot.
He's just open. And then the other one on the other side.
The other one was
to Irwin was like same thing. He had all kinds of room. He just threw it up, let him make a play. I think it was Irwin.
I think that was it. We just saw it. That was the one down in your corner.
You see him. He's like, he's 2 yards behind.
That's the one. That's the one. Great job. Great job on the video side.
The other one at the other end of the field, though, to Chase that Paul mentioned was like, Burrow threw the ball, and then you saw like Chase turn around, see the ball, realize where it's going, and then like adjust. Like it was just like the ball was just floating in there for him.
Look at that. There's no reason to throw that ball when you did, other than, well, I can put the ball exactly where I want to, and I know my receiver can.
There
make
was
that
an
catch,
element of sort of, and I don't. This is going to sound really disrespectful. I don't mean it to sound, but like we haven't seen offense like that with. I mean, obviously, with the way that the Patriots' passing offense has been all year. But there was like, wow, it was like an appreciation for some of those plays today. Like some of those plays on the sideline that were thrown with timing, and precise.
Your guy Zolak in the booth, I think, people were saying that he was like, this is the kind of offense we used to have. Yeah. We used to be able to do this.
But like when you had Brady.
That's what he meant.
I hope he didn't mean last year.
No. That's what he meant.
Because
that must have been during the part of the game when Zoe was still watching.
He meant when Brady was here.
Because there is a huge grunt. Like you don't hear it anymore. But going into this year, there was a lot of this is what Mac Jones can be.
Yes.
Is Joe Burrow.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I don't see the same level of talent. I don't.
At some point, Zoe just started focusing in on the clam chowder.
Is that right?
And
then he came back after the Hail Mary.
A little bit.
The Hail Mary, because I got to be honest, even the pick six didn't like. I was like, oh well, that's nice for Marcus Jones. He's my pet rookie. I was happy for him. The Hail Mary, I was like, oh, huh.
This could happen.
There's still like 6 minutes left. Bengals are going to have to put a drive together.
And that's when you started thinking. And again, I had the same feeling like. I don't know that they're going to win this game, but something miraculous could happen on Christmas Eve.
Right. Well, and that's what it's funny because that's the four of us, I know Fred's usually busy with the blog, but
God bless us.
We were just talking the whole time. It's like, I know it feels like it's 50-0, but the Bengals have made it so it's only 22-0. They missed 2 extra points. They miss a field goal. They drop a touchdown. And instead of 30-0, it was 22-0.
And, by the time that touchdown happened, a lot of people had left.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, if the Patriots win this, how many of those people say, I was there? I was there. It's like the Ted Williams home run at Fenway. All the people that say they witnessed it.
Before we get to the injured, I have one more good I wanted to get to, and that's Nick Folk. Had he made one of those extra points.
You mean bad?
No. Had he made one of the extra points, then I think the other missed one doesn't count as much, and he probably would have kicked the field goal, so they wouldn't have had to have, been thinking about the touchdown. So good job by him.
I would also add in the special team. I know you got to read through that. The special teams coverage again. Yeah. Kickoff out to the 40 on one of them.
Was it?
Punt returns all day.
Both the kickers.
Oh yeah, the punter dropping the ball.
Well, the thing is, they're punting it not high, and it's going short, so the coverage doesn't even have time to set up.
Kickoff coverage has been a problem all year. When it hasn't been a touchback, it's been a problem.
McPherson and Folk were so bad today. Was it windier down there than I thought?
Something going on in that south end zone.
Holy crap! But on the
I thought our end zone, is that the south one?
Yeah.
Fred, the north one too.
Yeah.
I mean, neither one of those guys could make anything.
And it wasn't affecting the passes as much. That was the weird thing.
Folks miss to the open end. He just shanked. Like, that was a low kick.
Okay, so, of course, didn't get a replay. Why would you get a replay?
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Is that my fault? Do I talk too much?
No, I should have broken 5 minutes ago when he told me to.
Because you talk too much.
I know.
Homeboy, you never shut up.
Homeboy, you never shut up. I thought someone got a hand on it and deflected it. But we didn't get a replay, so I don't know.
When I saw it, I didn't get a look either. I just saw a low kick, but if that's it, then that's different. I think the wind problem was at our end.
South end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
South
was weird
end,
because the flags weren't
yes.
really going.
No, they weren't.
I mean, clearly McPherson's first one was affected by it because it really pushed right. Then he missed the next one right, and I thought to myself, he's going to overcompensate and miss one left. And sure enough, the field goal he missed left.
Yeah, but a missed extra point, a missed field goal from McPherson, and then Folk just made nothing. So, all right,
it's bad all around.
Injuries.
Had some injuries.
Tight ends.
We did.
Lost both tight ends.
Henry early.
Knee.
And you got to hand it to the tight ends. Henry gets hurt while running into the other tight end, Jonnu Smith, on the first third down of the game, I believe.
Unorthodox play.
And Jonnu got pinballed.
Knee, and he didn't come back. And later, Mac really tried his best to kill Jonnu Smith.
He tried to kill him.
And he didn't return either.
No.
With a head injury.
Schooler went out early, came back, though.
Marcus Jones went out.
Yeah, I didn't. Now it was on the recovery.
But on that play,
I wonder if Marcus Jones got pebbles in his eyes or something.
Yeah, but on the
he looked fine.
On the play that Jonnu Smith got sandwiched, he didn't get hit in the head though.
No, but the whiplash when he got hit from one side.
The whiplash. All right.
He got hit from the Patriots sideline into another guy.
Yeah. Okay.
And if he didn't hit his head, he did kind of like jar it, and then he. I don't know. That was a pretty big hit.
Okay. It was a big hit.
In retrospect, that's.
But it was a clean hit. It didn't.
No, you're right. Mac Jones can't throw that.
Someone explained to me, like I'm a child, how Mac Jones throws that ball.
Yeah.
How do you pull the trigger on that pass? What do you see that allows you to
and
throw
the things that he
ball.
doesn't see, like they had one angle where on a sack, and he steps up, and you're seeing it from his vantage point, and there's guys crossing that if he just gets rid of it, I mean, he could get it there, and he ends up taking the sack.
And especially when you've got somebody, it doesn't even have to be on a cross. Sometimes it's someone open for a screen, which he loves. He's holding on to the ball. There was one play, and he's rolling out right, looking for something downfield. Like, look, kid, you haven't made one of those throws, on purpose.
Well, Jonnu
by
bailed
design.
him out on one of those. He rolled out. There was nobody open.
Yeah.
He was about to get sacked, and Jonnu, he cut back to escape,
came
and
back,
Jonnu came with him,
Yes.
which was a smart play. But it's not a normal NFL passing offense.
It certainly
It
is
just
not.
isn't.
All right, let's grab some phone calls here. Let's go ahead and do it. We'll start with Eric in New Jersey. Patriots postgame show. Pats lose at home to the Bengals 22-18. What do you have for us, Eric?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hey, man, Merry Christmas first and foremost. Two things I just want to talk about real quick. Marcus Jones, love him, but I think he was getting exposed out there at the 5'8". Smart teams are just going to match up big guys, athletic tight ends on him. I think he's a heck of a ball player. I just think he's just going to be overmatched out there.
Yeah, if he could stop T. Higgins or Jamar Chase, he would have been drafted in the first round.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, but again,
he couldn't do it in college.
But the point, I think the point he's trying to make is he can't do it because of his size.
Well, whatever it is, he never was that guy.
No. Yeah, well, we've seen it before. Ellis Hobbs, Plaxico Burress. I mean, it's just, again, smart teams are just going to match you up.
And it's
like
also
I said, even athletic tight ends. But I mean,
T. Higgins is a monster. Jamar Chase isn't.
Oh, yeah.
Jamar Chase is like 6 foot.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's a monster in terms of a player. But I need my cornerbacks to be able to cover receivers, even good ones.
Yes.
Now, there's always matchup. Like a 5'8" guy against T. Higgins can't do it. And twice they had him on an island on the outside, just throwing it up, and he couldn't. He was powerless. Yeah. But he should be able. He should be able to compete with other guys.
I mean,
and I think he struggles a little bit.
I think he's been thrust into a terrible position. He
Totally
should be a
agree,
slot
Mike.
receiver. He's a rookie.
And I'm not just saying that because he's my binky.
No, I mean, he didn't play outside at all in training camp. I mean, they're down. I mean, and we can talk about lack of depth at outside corner, which is certainly a thing. But without Mills, without Jack Jones, you're stuck trying to play a slot corner outside.
I'm right there with you, but I just think that smart teams are just going to find that matchup.
Yeah,
Sure.
I hear you.
Smart
But what do they
quarterbacks,
do? I mean, what do you want them to do? You want them to put Sean Wade out there like that? They don't have anybody else.
Right. He got torched for a touchdown when he was out there.
He got
But
nobody else.
Do you feel like how much better do you feel about Jack Jones? I don't think he's that much bigger.
No.
He's a little taller, but not. I mean, is he 5'11"?
Totally fair.
Long,
totally
he's
fair.
I think Jack's a little long in the limbs. I just think Marcus is better used.
Yeah, I think Marcus is better in coverage, though.
I mean, it's a give and take. He's a fourth round guy, but I think Marcus would be better used than on the offensive side. That's just my puck piece there, and then just the offense. I mean, I understand the coaching and everything, but Mac, you got to muster up, figure a way there at the end. You had a game silver plate put on the line for you just to sit there and win it. You take the ball from the 40. It was disgusting, and I'll take it off. And I wish you guys the best, man. Happy New Year.
Thanks, Eric.
Happy New Year's, Eric.
I think there's
Can
a
we
lot.
start saying Happy New Year? Is that
Not yet.
etiquette? No.
On Monday.
I think there's a lot. See, this is a catch that Tyquan Thornton has to make.
Yeah,
too.
he has to make that catch.
That's not a hard play. In fairness, I talked about the
training
Bengals
camp-
dropping plays. Dropping deep balls.
And-
This is a drop. This is a play.
And run through it.
That's
Right.
points.
You don't have to stop and dive. Keep running.
That drop cost you points.
And the kind of that play that he made once or twice in training camp that made you have a little bit of enthusiasm.
I kind of think it was easier than some of the plays we saw him make in training camp, to be honest.
I mean, it sounds like you're making excuses, and the ball wasn't underthrown, but it probably was coming in closer to his body than he wanted to, and you end up trying to catch it in here as opposed to with the hands.
Right.
But a real receiver makes that catch regardless.
That's right.
I don't think he has any
And-
reason to be going to the ground right there.
Yeah,
I think he made it a more difficult
I'll
play.
tell you a ball that wasn't a thrown at the end, the bomb to Thornton. Thornton had to slow up and run into the defender, but if Mack had the arm,
Yeah.
Thornton had the space, and he
Can you
would've
imagine
just,
if he caught that and it got called back for an illegal man downfield?
I just.
I mean, in the end, for a touchtouchdown. Because if he caught it, the game would have ended.
Right.
Yeah. If
you can't
that,
get down there.
If that last Thornton ball was caught, though, like as it was coming down, I was just, here it is. Here's the play we're going to be talking about all offseason of like why we're excited about Tyquan Thornton, and then
no, but if the
you look
if
at
Mac
it, you know
had
what
the
I was
arm,
thinking?
if Mac had the arm, he's off to the races. The game's over.
OPI.
No,
Oh,
I was thinking defensive OPI. One play, untimed down from the. That's what I was thinking.
Let's go to Tom and Napa.
The
here
way
on
the Bengals were playing the second half, I thought they were going to do it all.
Patriots postgame show. Hi, Tom.
Tom.
Rough year for you, Tom.
Let's go this evening.
Let's go. William in Philly. What's up, Will?
Willem and Philly.
Yum.
Hey, what's going on now?
Hi, William.
How you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
All right now. My question is for Paul. Paul, I didn't catch the show earlier though, but I caught a little piece of it. Could you explain to me what you mean it's not Bill Belichick's fault? Well, I don't understand.
Yeah, what do you mean by that? Yeah. What do you mean by that?
It's not your fault.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know because I don't know when I said it.
Bill
I still think Bill's a good coach.
He
I
wants
mean,
to
if that's a controversial take,
I think
Guilty as charged.
Paul and I both said that. Deuce would probably agree. We all think that Bill is still
I got an interesting little nugget to share. We had ourselves a scorigami today.
I saw that.
The 22-18 has never been done before. Isn't that weird?
What?
Scorigami.
22-18. No game has ever
The
ended 22-18.
1075th.
It's all right. It only took five missed extra points to get there.
Right. That's probably
Wow. 22-18 has never happened before.
It's
That's
the
a pretty-
1075th.
That's a
unique
pretty
final
odd
score
score. That's like
in
a
NFL.
Berman.
It is an odd
That's a
score,
Chris
but
Berman
think of
score.
all the games that have been played.
I know.
You
I
know.
mean, low. I mean, 22-18. It's not
Right.
You know.
Huh.
So it was special. See, it makes it a little different now, doesn't it? It feels a little different with that.
Well, at least I saw something I've never.
still
Every time you
feels-
go to the ballpark, Deuce, you could see
never
something
know.
you've
Well,
never seen
the
before.
only three scores that can't happen is 1-0, 2-1, or 1-1, right? Those are the only three scores that can't happen.
Okay.
I'd have to check if there's some kind of
thought
prime
there was
number for football. That there's like
something-
another prime number in football that you can't quite get to.
Yeah, I thought there
I mean,
was
I guess you
something
can.
about the one
Could get to 4.
that
Could subtract a
something
point.
could happen. I
Well,
don't know.
Oh, yeah, you
can't
can get a
score-
1?
I don't know.
You
I don't
only
know.
get the extra
You
point.
can't score
It's like an
one.
obscure single that you can get or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, you also can't have a score of -3 to 2.
Oh.
I mean, it's like if we're
Yeah.
just talking
We're
about
talking
things
whole-
that could not happen.
Yeah, we're talking whole numbers.
Okay,
Right.
well, yeah.
Whole
You
numbers.
can't score 1. That's correct.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm trying to remember what our conversation was about Bill because it was more nuanced than that in the
yeah,
pregame.
I mean, just to and I love Willem, but yeah, I don't think Bill is the biggest problem out there. I think Bill still. I think Bill still has
know
like
what it is.
the ability to put game plans together and whatnot. Do I think he's been part of the problem? Yeah,
I know
I
what it
think the
was.
decision to make defensive coaches the offensive coordinator was a bad one.
Going back to not having a plan after Tom Brady, to making Matt Patricia your offensive coordinator.
Right.
Yes, there have been a series of franchise shifting decisions that Bill has been responsible for, and we still think he's a good coach. And we still think that he does, a wonderful job. And if you have one of these scenarios where weather or injury levels the playing field, I like a Bill Belichick coach team in those scenarios. But there have been a few decisions that he has made, big picture for this team, that have hamstrung you now for 3 years.
Yeah, and I don't ignore those. Fred
No.
will tell you, I've been pretty critical.
And I mean,
of Phil.
for me, I think replacing Brady it was a really hard thing to do, and I certainly it was not good enough, but that's a really hard thing to do.
But you got to have a plan.
But
he ended
even
up
if
taking
you have
Cam
a plan,
Newton because nobody else wanted him.
but even if you have a plan, doesn't mean it's going to work. Like look,
Everybody
I'm just
has
saying,
a plan until
I'm
they
just
get punched
saying,
in the mouth.
Hardy, compared
Wait,
to
what?
They had
compared
a
to what
plan.
happened with the offense this year, I see that as a way more egregious screw up because it's a completely incompetent offense. I mean, there are a lot of teams that need a quarterback out there. It's not like, well, and we'll just put that guy in for Brady and that'll work fine. I mean,
I agree. Except
I'm just saying
if
there's
you
a little
believe,
difference for me.
if you believe Tom Brady, he knew he was gone in August before that season started.
Oh yeah,
and
no,
then
the not having a plan for that that's very.
It's a big one.
Second guessable.
It's a big one.
They had a plan. They implemented it too soon. The plan was Garoppolo, and it blew up. So they never got a chance to implement it. Brady ruined that plan.
But
and
when
then,
did Garoppolo go?
So
and then they screwed up
did
by
nothing for a year and a half.
right.
No, but Garoppolo was going to be the guy to succeed.
No,
him.
I know that, but now you have a year and a half to figure
right.
out what you're going to do.
And then the second part of the mistake was not having faith in Brady, and not being willing to pay him.
Okay, yeah, I think
he left because of money.
He also left because the coach didn't want him.
Because he wouldn't pay him. He left because of money. If they had paid him the money,
I agree.
that means they want me.
I agree. But they didn't want to pay him the money
Right.
because they didn't want him.
That's right.
Not because they didn't want to.
Because they didn't have faith in him.
Right. Right. So, like, it's both ways.
I know, but
I agree with you. I think if they gave him the contract he wanted, which I think was still well below market, $25
he would have
million,
stayed.
I think he would have stayed.
And if the plan was Garoppolo, the instant you trade him, you start working on the next plan. And they didn't work on the next plan until they said.
Well, they started winning Super Bowls. Remember that?
Yeah, but but that was with Brady, and if you're not going to keep Brady and the plan wasn't to keep him, then you have to start working on the next guy right away.
They drafted Garoppolo, and then they won 3 more Super Bowls.
All right, let's. After you trade
Really
Garoppolo,
devolved here.
After Garoppolo, not
that's
before.
when you need the next plan.
Well, they screwed that up too.
Thank you.
They should have traded him before the draft.
Well, you want to give him a pass because they said, well, they did have a plan. It was Garoppolo. Okay, but then you traded him.
I think we all recognize that they had a plan for 20-plus years. That plan was to have the greatest player who's ever played the game be the quarterback so you can win 6 titles. That was the plan.
And it worked.
And it worked to perfection. Thank you, Freddie.
Marcus Jones just got the wind knocked out of him, he said.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I thought maybe the pebbles came up and bothered him.
Somebody said that in the booth. I'm like, he didn't get the wind knocked out of him. I like the pebble theory. I'm sticking with the pebble theory, regardless of what Marcus just said.
Pebbles in the eyes.
Right. All right. Well,
Bam, not pebbles.
Say thank you to Cyber Reason, presenters of the Patriots Postgame Show. Great defenders don't just play on the field; they're also protecting your company and data. Cyber Reason, on a mission to end ransomware and keep your business undefeated against cyber attacks. Learn more at cyberreason.com/ransom. Bonus phone call time with Deshaun from Virginia. Deshaun, what do you have for us?
Hello, guys. Once again, how's it going?
Good.
Good.
Okay. The more I look at these games throughout the season, I can most definitely concur with you guys about Bill Belichick, being a pretty solid coach, in which he is. But the more I look at these games, it just proves my point even more. Like, if they can get somebody else to make the personnel decisions, as far as both drafting and free agency. Because looking at this team, they're not. I think it's just make a few changes here and there on both sides of the ball, like get certain players, whatever. I think they can really compete. Have a good chance of competing in the playoffs next year.
Get some good players on both sides of the ball. I agree.
Yeah,
I mean that would
talent infusion. Yeah.
Let's go back to what
that would undoubtedly do it.
Let's go back to what the owner said in the offseason about how Bill does things sometimes in an unorthodox way, and that includes personnel. And we all agree that Bill has a great football mind and he's a great coach. He doesn't need to be unorthodox. That's the problem. Just, pick the best guy or, your great mind will be the advantage. You don't need to be unorthodox to create the advantage.
In what way is he being unorthodox
picking
now?
Personnel, deciding to make the Matt Patricia the offensive coordinator, whatever it is.
Okay,
any decision that is, that's weird, he doesn't need to do that. His mind is what gives you the advantage.
To me, that's the only weird one, though. The other ones, I think, are just from a lack of planning or a lack of an ability to draft better.
Yeah, I think there was.
I'm sorry, I can't give him credit for being eccentric when I think it's just that's inept. Well, a couple of inept draft choices.
And I think some of that is like that period where he, decided I'm just going to pick, from coaches I like in college or, that type of thing.
I mean, I'm starting to get to the point where, and I 100% agree with the draft is a major problem, but I'm also wondering now, lack of development. I mean, are we even sure that these drafts are as bad as we're saying? Are guys just not developing because they're not getting the developmental coaching that they're needing either? I mean, because you're seeing some guys look pretty good last year, regressing now. I don't know. I don't know where it is. I think that's the heart of the matter. You don't draft. You don't have that elite talent right now.
We haven't talked to Spee. Well, we didn't talk to him in the pregame. We're talking to him now, though. Postgame, Spee, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, Mike, I really appreciate your point about the development issue. you've hit that a couple times this season. It'll be a fun off-season topic. Well, I don't know about fun, but what is it? 2 minutes to go, and you're down by 4. And I think the Bengals had no timeouts. I understand, and their offense had been kind of sputtering in the second half. But I still thought to myself, maybe just let the Patriots into the end zone, and then you'll drive it down, and you'll be able to score them because you have a great quarterback. And at that moment, I was like, wait a minute. The Patriots have a very, very well-established bad red zone offense. We can stop these guys? And then, lo and behold, the Patriots found a way to stop themselves. It's just like, I guess my question with that is, like, to what extent were they hampered by the lack of a passing game in the red zone, that they had to keep pounding the ball, had to keep running it? Do you guys agree with the way that they called those plays on the ground in that last drive there for them?
Well, I think once they got the first down, okay, now all bets are off. You don't have to keep running, but, like, get that first down. Give yourself, 4 plays.
I just think they're so in their own head at this point that they're just overthinking everything and swinging one way or swinging the other, and the results are just as disjointed as they are.
It feeds on itself. It's a unsure of yourself from
Don't
the
know who you
coaching to
are,
the players.
identity.
It really is. It's I don't want to call it a cancer, but it festers.
I mean, do you feel like it feeds into, like, the lack of an identity and lack of knowing who we are, lack of knowing, like, what we can do in a certain situation, and believing in ourselves?
Who's
it's just kind of like, I don't know who we are.
Right.
We're gonna run. What player are we running for this? All right, let's.
All of a sudden, Kendrick Bourne's your go-to player. Where's he been all? Like.
That's what I said
That's
earlier
not
in the
good.
show. It's a sign that these guys. I'm not saying this is like, even if they're with a great offensive coordinator and all fire. I don't know that they're a top 10 offense in the league, but they're better than absolute.
They're better than this
ineptitude that they're showing.
So, real quick before you do that, there was another Poole report, because it wouldn't be a Patriots game without a Poole report. Mike Reese talked to Craig Rolstead, who was the referee today. How much consideration was there to blowing the fumble play with New England running back Ramondre Stevenson dead due to forward progress being stopped? So exactly the question that the four of us had.
Yes.
Rolstead said, in order to have forward progress, the runner has to be controlled by the defense. He has to be held and controlled and basically have his feet taken away. We felt that he still had his feet, so we did not feel that he was held and controlled by the defense. He was still free to gain yardage, and then also, obviously, there was a chance that he could fumble.
Yeah, see, I'm not crazy. I wasn't upset about that.
I like the explanation. I mean, it seems like he had a checklist, and
I think Fred just put it right. Like, I don't think it rises to the level of being pissed off.
No.
Right?
No.
But I'm just telling you, I've seen guys sort of corralled like that, and the whistle blows.
Well, what is your definition of still has his feet?
Because he was still moving.
He's still moving.
If you watch the replay, he's still moving his feet and still trying to break tackles.
So he has to be lifted off the ground?
No, like you're controlled and you're no longer moving. Like I'll give you an example. On the same drive, hold on one second.
Okay.
On the same drive, about 4 plays earlier, on first down, there was a play called, and he was completely corralled. And Freddie, you'll know the play that I'm talking about, because all of a sudden, the pile moved forward like a yard.
Right.
And it went from like a 5-yard gain to a 6-yard gain, or a 5-yard gain to a 7-yard gain, because everybody just all of a sudden started moving him forward. He was clearly corralled and stopped. Mm-hmm. But if you blow the whistle, now you take away the yardage that he gets. That's why I think Freddie's saying, like, yeah, I'm not really pissed off that they didn't call.
There was a slim chance he could have, like, broken free.
What if he squirts out the side and runs into the end zone and they blow the whistle? Now you're pissed off that they called it too early.
I'm not that pissed about it. I think there is a time to say, look, he's being moved backwards here, and if there are guys on either side of him that are moving him backwards, is he really going to squirt loose? And the only reason why I say it is not because it hurt the Patriots today, is because I think we look at these games every single week and say that guy's going to get killed. You know, if you're moving him backwards like that.
That's my thought.
That's where you get a knee.
These guys take hellacious hits, and now you're asking them to take extra ones when they're not they're not in a position to defend themselves. It's like a defenseless receiver, but the running back, you just get killed.
And it's a different rule for the quarterbacks. If that's a quarterback, man, that
then
play
it's
is
in the
called.
grass.
They're gonna blow that dead on a quarterback because the quarterback isn't fighting for yards. Right. That's the difference. But I have seen that. I'm with Hardy. I have seen that play blown dead. Absolutely have seen that play.
I'll never forget the one in Carolina. It was the Kuechly hold game.
Yeah.
There was a play earlier that they stopped the Patriots because of forward progress, and I was livid. It was just a bad call.
And then he fumbled?
No.
Oh.
opposed us.
James.
No, he broke free and he ran.
Thank you for your patience, James.
And he ran.
Paul was yelling at me. Go ahead.
I wasn't yelling.
Yes, sir. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for having me again. I think when I think about the Brady situation and Belichick and just the team as it currently is now, I think historically with Bill Belichick, he has this, there's no I in team decision making where I believe besides money, Brady, you know, to me at least, he left because, I mean, he didn't have the personnel that could have been brought to New England, and you could see his frustration through the 2019 season. And I think furthermore, he doesn't really give those contracts out that certain guys want that may have earned them and let walk out the door a bit earlier than they, you know, would have if he gave those, you know, contracts. And I think with the defense, what key people do you think that he could build off of, you know, in the future with, like, the certain personnel that he already has? Because I'm afraid that he may make some more disappointing decisions where he'll just let guys go and, you know, rather than just like, hey, maybe if you pay somebody you already have, then you could build upon that more.
Well, yeah. I mean, I hope they keep Myers. You know, I think he's worth keeping, but there's really not a lot of high-end talent. I mean, I hope they keep Judon. You know, but they need infusion of high-end
well,
talent.
specifically, I think he meant the defense too.
Cornerback.
Yeah.
Jonathan Jones is a free agent, and we're talking about how thin it is to have a 5'8" guy and Marcus Jones covering big guys. Jonathan Jones has done a lot for you as an outside corner this year. I mean, I don't think it would be as big a loss as like even losing J.C. Jackson last year was. But now if you lose Jackson and then, you know, it was Gilmore and Jackson and now Jonathan Jones.
Right. You have to stop the bleeding at some point. I mean, they were basically rolling 3 slot corners out there today. Like I think you need a legitimate.
They were undermanned today.
Outside cornerback. You know, I mean, Jalen Mills. I actually like Jalen Mills generally. I don't think that he is a #1 outside corner. I mean, he's okay. He's a good tackler. I mean, I'd play maybe as a safety, but they need at least one legit outside corner that can match up.
The Paul and Fred theory on you know, jump and ship.
Millsy.
I'm watching Jalen Mills.
Oh boy. Hey, Pats fans. Dateline Foxborough. I'm here to tell you about NFL All Day. With NFL All Day, all your favorite Patriots highlights become digital video collectibles called
Moments.
Not only can you buy and sell them on a secure marketplace full of thousands of NFL fans, you can use them to compete in epic game day challenges. Check them out. Find some moments from all your favorite Patriots players on NFLAllDay.com.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes cyber reason. End cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
$1 million for picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
TouchView Interactive.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
The good list is going to be mercifully short. We begin with you, Mike Dussault.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, Here's Hardy.
I feel bad for Deuce. I think he missed out on the CB craze, culture, generation. Fred, Paul, and I'm sure.
With a scanner.
Convoy.
Well, we all remember like the CB craze. Everybody.
Like I had a friend who had one. I didn't really get into it, but yeah.
My dad had one.
What's your 20?
Yeah, that's right. And you had to come up with your handle. A cool name.
It's different than just listening to the police. Scanner,
was your handle Hardy?
No, I didn't have a CB.
Oh,
my dad did.
It was
Ironically enough, Rob.
Idiot.
Hey, Rob.
What would your CB handle be, Fred?
Boss man.
No.
Jake Steele.
Jake Steele.
Jake Steele.
Did you have were you a ham radio operator in your bedroom when you were a little kid? I could see you doing that.
No,
Hey, don't you worry about what I was operating in my bedroom.
It's another kind of ham Paul was operating.
Thank you. What?
Hand radio.
Hand radio. Both good jokes.
How about the Vikings are like to the point of absurd.
Oh, so what happened today? Can
they
you tell me
kicked
what
a 61-yard field goal in the last play. They won by 3.
Did they almost blow? Like what happened?
No,
I
it
don't
was
even
like
know
a
what
back
happened.
and forth game up. But that's just like they're 11-0 in one-score games.
They're gonna lose in the first round of the playoffs.
I'm sorry. I'm looking to see how he did on the picks today.
Oh,
I know
we
were all wrong.
Over
on the
unders.
Lions.
Hardy over under 5. 5-1 in the over under.
Thank you.
I was 4-2 though, so you didn't quite catch me.
All right.
Wow. All 4 teams from the NFC East.
You're 1-4.
Have a chance to make the playoffs. That's something. Would that be a first?
Yeah, because you would need the new alignment.
Because the new wild card, right?
Playoff Gami.
Yeah. How about your Jacksonville Jaguars sneaking into the 4 seed here?
They are in first place now,
story.
right? They have the tiebreaker.
Yep.
Currently.
Yep.
Because they beat Tennessee.
And they're 6-4 in conference.
So that's going to be the game I think in Week 18 that they'll flex to the night game.
There we go.
Because that's a win-in get-in game.
All right.
I'm a little worried. Has anybody heard anything about next week's game? Has not been touched, right?
No.
We're 1 o'clock.
But I did see something that they could theoretically move it late. I think these games they have more time. Maybe Fred can
So it's Week 17 and 18. I know Week 18 they wait till after the 17 slate is done.
That's the only one where they can do it.
That's the only one, Freddie.
Before 10 days.
Because I know you're at all the high-level meetings.
1 o'clock next week. We'll be back. Right.
Freddie's in all the high-level meetings. Hardy, that we don't know.
How fun! just to know what's going on. Be a league official.
I'm not.
Then when the NFL guys come in and they say something, Freddie gives them the what for.
Well, yeah.
He says, no, you're not doing that. Who do you think you are?
Only the most important people, and Fred just gets up. He's like, hey, maybe I don't even feel like it, but I'm one of those guys.
I heard that they were going to wear gray pants today, so they came out in blue. I texted somebody who would know. I said, I thought they were wearing grays. He's like, no, they made a decision 2 days ago not to do it.
I was actually on that.
Nobody told me.
Well, I saw a certain level higher up come around and say, no more throwbacks, no more gray pants.
They should have wore the gray pants. That's why they lost.
That's why. Brandon and Atlanta, before we hear from the head coach. What do you got for us, Brandon?
Man.
Uh-oh.
I know.
It's so close to not being sad Brandon today.
Oh.
But I just want to, I have an analogy, a quick analogy, and then I have, just a short statement. So this game was I don't know if any of y'all have ever played, a little cousin or a little brother in a video game, and you're you're up by 50 at the half. The next thing you know, you're like, I'm text on my phone. Go get something to eat. I'm gonna let the computer actually run a couple plays. The next thing you know, you look up, you're only up by 6, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, I got to get serious again. And then, of course, because he's only 5 or 6, he does something stupid, and you still end up winning. But yeah, I would say that the statement I have is I do think Belichick is a great coach and can turn this franchise around, but I just hope, and I mean, he doesn't have 10, 20, 15 years to go, but I just hope it doesn't take longer than, or as long as that, because, we're spoiled as Patriots fans, so it's we need to get some confidence back in this offense, and we got to stop doing just stupid stuff with penalties and fumbles and that lateral play obviously will never happen again, but that is something that would have never happened,
in the early 2000s or even in the late, the early 2020s.
Or in the history of football.
Late 2000s when we were,
never
going
happened.
on our second run. So I'm just praying as a Patriots fan. I love this team. I never waver, but I need them to get competent sooner than later.
I don't think that's an unfair ask, Brandon.
Yeah, we're like we're like one of those tech guys in the internet boom, and our Brady bubble burst, and now we touched. We knew what it was like to be rich, and now we want to get rich again.
We're not pets.com, are we?
Yeah.
I was thinking pets.com. Great minds, Deuce. How about that?
Going great.
I don't know from pets.com. What am I missing?
It went really well until it didn't go really well.
Until they realized that it costs a lot to ship 50-pound bags of dog food.
And you probably shouldn't spend $1 billion in advertising before you've made a cent.
Right.
Because there's
with
all
your
kinds
website.
of.
And you shouldn't draft a guard in the first round. Oh, wait.
What are we talking about? What are we doing?
That might be your best line ever on this show.
Speaking of great minds, head coach Bill Belichick, after the 22-18 loss to the Bengals today at Gillette Stadium, here he is.
And just not enough. So, just disappointing result.
Bill, we saw in the second half the sort of impact that Kendrick Bourne can have when he's made the focal point of the passing game. Why have the opportunities for him to be such a regular target in the offense been so few and far between this year?
Yeah, no particular reason.
Hey, Bill, I'm just sort of curious what your impressions were of Joe Burrow. First time you faced him, first time he's faced you. Was it any different from what you'd seen on film?
No, about the same.
On the Bengals, one of their drives early, a 3rd and 17, far from your sideline, how much consideration did you give to possibly challenging whether he came down and controlled the ball there?
Didn't see anything that would give us a chance to do that.
And at the end of the first half, can you explain just sort of the sequence there where you had the quick pass and then took a timeout and then kneeled? What was behind that thought process?
Let's see what happened at the end see how much we gained on that play, and in the end didn't feel like it was, really so much we could do there.
Hey, Bill, you made adjustments in the second half. Defense played great. What was a big change there in the second half, after giving up 22 points?
Yeah, no big change. Same calls.
Hi, Bill. What have you seen from Marcus Jones and how he's progressed this season?
Yeah, he's talked about him a lot. Yeah, he's done a good job for us. A little bit more each week, and some played a lot of defense lately.
Bill, you've repeatedly taken responsibility for the offense this season. When you don't cross midfield till the end of the third quarter, you get 12 points here today. How much of that is your responsibility? Your players were well positioned enough to win today.
Yeah, I'm the head coach.
Bill, you said it was the same calls in the second half. Obviously, Joe Burrow had a great first half. He threw for 284 yards and 3 touchdowns. So was the second half you guys slowing him down, or was that the Bengals stopping themselves?
Yeah, I don't know. Call it whatever you want.
I want to know what you call it.
And we shut about in the second half. Thought we played good defense. Call it whatever you want.
Bill, what can you do? How do you make sure that the players stay together these final 2 weeks of the season here?
Do what we've been doing.
Coach, 4 straight runs there as you guys got in the red zone on the offense's final drive. Was running clock also a consideration there, or just simply trying to score?
Yeah, we're trying to score and trying to control the clock. Yeah, they used their timeout, so we control the clock and the field position. on the last, what was it, first down play.
What was the Bengals defense able to do to slow down your group for 3 quarters?
I mean, couldn't convert on third down the first half, so that was the biggest problem. Yeah. All right.
And there goes the head coach, which is brought to you by Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider and laptop of the NFL and the New England Patriots. Provides players and coaches with the tools to succeed both on and off the field. Check out the powerful Surface Pro 8, combining the power of a laptop with the flexibility of a tablet at surface.com. Little testy back and forth a couple of times there. You guys only scored 12 points offensively. How much of that is on you? And his answer was?
I'm the head coach.
All of it. You just put it all on him. Also, the Chris Gasper exchange there with the different.
How you feel?
Yeah,
I don't know what you call it.
What changed in the second half? With Burrow and so, I don't know. Was it you or was it things that the Bengals did to themselves? Call it whatever you want. I want to know what you call it. Call whatever you want. All right.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about the defense in the second half, and it's inarguable that they got shut out in the second half. The Bengals did. So you could say, well, the Patriots made some improvements in the. I'm sorry, I can't give you the Patriots offense suddenly caught fire in the second half. I can't. I can't. I know that they scored some points in the second half. 6 of them were a pick six, and 6 of them were a Hail Mary. I mean, call it what it was. That's a Hail Mary on 3rd and whatever.
24.
I think it was 29 after the penalty.
Oh, after the penalty might have been 29, yeah.
Like, again, I can live with Fred, saying, well, they shut him out in the second half. They had to do something right. I mean, I personally think the Bengals just dropped a bunch of passes and committed a bunch of penalties and started fumbling the ball. But shutout's a shutout. Like, I can tell you.
I give that.
Joe Burrow only had 100 yards in the second half after having 280 in the first half. So I can say Patriots defense was better in the second half.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the Patriots offense did anything better
in
the second half. They were bad in both.
And that's the
they
only
were
thing
bad.
I would really push back on, Paul, is because
I'm fine with that.
At the beginning, I don't think you even wanted to give them the defense much credit in the second half because
I personally don't, but I understand. Yeah, I totally can understand the argument.
Yeah, even the interception, which was a bad throw by Burrow.
Good call. It was a good play call. They went 0 blitz and
Thank
they got Burrow on his back foot throwing it.
There you go.
Before he should have.
Yeah.
So I do
you give him credit for that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Now we step
Good
aside. Now we step aside again, and we'll get ready to hear from Mac Jones here in a few minutes. Now, again, if you're looking back on this game months from now or next year and you kind of forget the particulars of it, this is another game where you look at the numbers for Mac Jones and say, oh, not too bad.
Why? What were his numbers?
What wasn't an awful day. Of course, they just went away on me here. I want to say like 22 of 31, about 240 yards.
Yeah, 22 of 31. That's right.
22. Okay. Yeah.
You're right. I mean, statistically, the numbers would tell you he had a good day.
One touchdown.
They tell you he had
2 touchdowns.
That's acceptable, right?
The 240.
Was Mac Jones?
But again, if you take out 48 yards,
was his play acceptable today?
No. He was not good today.
Like I said,
but if you look at the numbers, and again, if you go strict, in this column it says this, and his passer rating I'm sure was in triple figures.
Yeah,
240 and 2 touchdowns with no picks.
I mean,
that's 100 plus passer rating. I bet I don't see it. I don't have it in front of me.
It is a 105.6.
Yeah, but
so
I agree with Fred. I don't think it was very good.
We'll hear from Mac Jones when we return on the Patriots postgame show, which is brought to you by NFL All Day. With NFL All Day, all your favorite Patriots highlights become digital video collectibles called Deuce
Moments.
Thank you. Not only can you buy and sell them on a secure marketplace full of thousands of NFL fans, you can compete in epic game day challenges. They're epic. Check them out. Find some moments from all your favorite Patriots players on NFLAllDay.com.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes Cyber Reason. End cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
$1 million for picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Ultimately, they may have punched their ticket out of the postseason because of abject stupidity. End of rant. Go ahead.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Back on the Patriots Postgame show presented by Cyber Reason. 22-18. Patriots fall to the Bengals today at Gillette Stadium. Before we hear from Mac, we're going to hear from George in Los Angeles. Hi, George. George. I'm going to give you the goodbye, George. Goodbye, George.
It's
Goodbye.
another Hardy call.
You know what? A lot of people want to talk, and they'll hold on for a long time, and then eventually they fall asleep. D in Baltimore. What's up, D?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, D.
Good.
So I got a question. Do you guys think it's time to revamp the whole coaching staff?
The whole
Pretty much.
coaching staff. Well, if Bill goes, it will be revamped, but I don't think
Yeah.
Bill's going. So, but I do
Well,
think on
well,
offense they
well-
need to make some changes. Absolutely.
Yes. I think they need to bring some people outside of who Bill knows because he don't want to bring nobody in because he want to be in control. So
Yeah.
I guess him being stuck in his ways is starting to hurt the franchise.
That's a theory. A lot of people agree with you.
D, I love that theory. And Bill O'Brien. Oh, let's get Bill O'Brien in here. No.
No. We need somebody different. He's been there before.
Thank you,
we need
D.
somebody different for him.
Thank you.
Yeah, but at
the
least Bill
league is
O'Brien
changing.
will stick up for himself. You
The
know?
league is changing, and Bill still think he's the smartest person in the room. and it
Well,
ain't
he
happening
is
no more.
usually.
No, it ain't no more. And that's what's starting to hurt him. So I think it's time to do something different.
Okay.
All right,
I
thanks,
think a
Dave.
lot of people agree with you, D.
And
Sorry about that. I
Turn
think
your
it's
mic on.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny that there seems to be no in between with this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that feel like that it's time. It's just time. And then there's other people that are like, how dare you even suggest it? There's no real in between. Like, I don't really love the direction of the team, and I still think Bill can coach, but
Well, here's the
he's
question.
slipping.
This is
Like,
me. Here's
there's
the
none of
question.
that.
That's me.
When
That's why I am.
remember when Bill's, they asked him why he drafted Garoppolo, and he said, with Tom's age and the
Contract
his contract.
situation.
Do you think the Crafts have a plan as we sit right now?
Oh, you mean with Bill?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to replace Bill?
Like
Eventually
if Bill,
or right
let's just
now?
say Bill.
I have
let's-
to think
let's
they
say
have a
Bill-
couple of guys in
Yeah,
mind.
let's just say Bill decided to leave. Like that's it. I'm done.
Did you ever ask him when you're in your high-level meetings?
They wouldn't tell me.
Just brought it up randomly.
tell
Middle
me.
of the meeting.
wasn't
Robert, I've been meaning to ask. What's the plan?
Wasn't that the
We
conversation?
need a plan.
in the
think
pre-
they
no
ha-
plan,
Do you
Mike.
think they have like a
Plan.
couple names in mind?
They're not going to hand
I
out
think in the
plan.
preseason, the conversation was part of the plan was Matt Patricia would take over the team. That's
Who
why
said
you,
that?
That's
Yeah,
why
I
you
do
bring
not
him
buy
back.
that.
That's why you bring him back in this capacity.
Bill
now.
brought him back.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, that's
On-
very. That's a
on
very
his own
common.
without telling ownership.
Yeah, it didn't cost him any money. They
It's
didn't care.
Bingo. It's a very common theory, and I know it's out there, and I know somebody really strongly at your station believes in that. I don't buy it.
Okay.
I don't either.
I don't buy it.
I don't buy it either. And even if there was an inkling that could take place, I don't want Matt Patricia anywhere near this team next year. I don't want him.
Ooh.
I don't want him in the earning.
Harsh.
I just don't think he's in the right position.
He's not. He's not an offensive coach.
And you would have to convince me what position is right for him.
How about the
Consigliere.
yes, the Mike Dussault.
Up in the
Ernie
in the
Adams
booth.
consigliere.
Heard, not seen. Just
he was doing
he's
that
on the mic.
2
he was
years
doing
ago.
that last year, wasn't
2
he?
years ago.
Yeah. How'd that work out for you?
Oh,
I
it
don't
was
know.
last year. Yeah, last year.
I don't know. I didn't get. We didn't have to hear.
Oh,
all
you,
about
did
them,
you not
so
see any
it's
of the games
fine.
last year? I can recap them for you.
Put it
they
this way,
look,
Hardy.
They look good against a bunch of average talent, and when it
Yeah,
came
but
to
is that because you
nut
didn't have the
cutting
right
time-
communication coming down, or as to when to call timeout or something? Like,
I don't want
You're
him on
mean.
offense. I don't want him back on defense.
Why am I-
You're the Grinch.
Why am I mean for calling out? Look, he was part of a great run here, and we thought Matt was doing a great job defensively. And then when Brian Flores took over, the defense actually looked better. Matt had a chance to run his own team at Detroit, and it was a total failure.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, over
Now-
the
now
last.
I
He comes back
now
here.
I remember
he comes
why
back
it's such
here
a venom.
with to run the offensive line and to run the offense, and it's a complete disaster.
Over the last 8 years,
Yeah.
what year did the offense look the best? I mean, the defense looked the best.
2018.
No, 14 when they had Revis.
Not
and-
to me. You asked me a question. I gave you my
with the
answer.
talent.
Okay,
They had talent in 2014. The best
And that's
defense.
and that's when
the
it
best
looked
the
the
defense
best.
played was 18.
Now, you're contradicting yourself, Paul, because you
No.
told you've said
No, I'm not.
Yes, because you said
2018 didn't give up 41 to Kansas City.
You said all of a sudden in
14 did.
Yeah, you said all of a sudden the only game they played well was in the Super Bowl. You said they stunk leading up.
I
to
didn't
that.
say that was the only game the defense
That's-
played well.
you-
I said the offense
says that-
carried you to the Super Bowl, except for the
Right,
except for
'cause
the
of
actual game.
because of the defense wasn't that good. You said.
Oh,
You've
God,
said that.
that is so hypocritical,
You
Fred.
said
That's
that
not
to,
what I
you
said,
said
and
that
you
to
know it.
callers often when they
People
defend the
say that they
defense.
won the Super
Super
Bowl
Bowl
last time because of
because
defense,
of
and I said that's
defense.
not true.
You said
Their
that-
offense was phenomenal in the playoffs, except for the Super Bowl. I didn't say anything bad about what the defense did in the Super Bowl that year.
But
the defense was that was their best year of defense.
My point is that everybody thinks that Matt Patricia was this terrible defensive coach. He
No, they-
wasn't.
no, they
That's not what
don't.
people say.
That's
See,
not
that's
what
I'm
people
saying.
say.
Like you
They
made
said,
fun of
you
me.
can't
for,
do anything. You stunk. I hear that all the time.
See, you make fun of me for coming up with the
straw
the
man?
straw man arguments. That's the ultimate straw man argument.
Are you kidding me? I hear it over and over. He stunk on defense. He can't do anything. I hear it all the
think
time.
his replacement was better than him. That doesn't mean he stunk.
And I think he gets too much credit for the defense, sometimes from himself, responsible
Yeah,
for one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history. When if there's any argument that prevails, it's not that Patricia stunk on defense, is that it's Bill's defense.
That's right.
And whoever's
And
running
it's
the
always
defense
been his.
is just doing what Bill's. So what do you want to bring him back doing anything for? What has he proven that he can't do on his own?
You're forgetting the Lions hate here.
What has he proven that he can do
The Lions hate
on his own?
That's Hardy and Orlovsky just piling on that.
What has he proven he can do on his own?
So you're saying that, like,
Mount Cooks.
Oh,
I know.
Okay.
Cookie. You're saying that the teams that were interested in him as a head coach was simply because he came from Bill's tree.
Well, I actually agree with. I mean, what did Eric Mangini do?
I think he actually was. I think he got drummed out of the league, but I think he was actually a pretty good coach, Eric Mangini.
Do you want Bill O'Brien to come back?
I mean, Eric Mangini got a job out of here as the safeties coach, and then they made him a coordinator for a year.
Yeah.
Remember, he was going to leave to be the Raiders' defensive coordinator. We blocked him.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's just because you're with the Patriots. Sorry.
Do you want Bill O'Brien to come back?
If my choice is him or Patricia again, I want Bill O'Brien.
So what do you want? And don't you don't have to say a name.
Yeah, right.
Because that's not our job. To
I
know
want
all
an
the candidates.
infusion of talent in the offensive coaching.
Yeah.
So you want somebody new from the outside that's got a fresh perspective.
Somebody who can get the best out of talent.
Yeah, I want somebody else.
But you don't think that's Bill O'Brien?
No, it could be. Like I said, if it was between him and Patricia, I want Bill O'Brien.
No, I want somebody else.
And
I want
I
option
hear what
three.
Dee was saying.
Right.
He's afraid that someone's going to come in and they're just going to be a yes man. I don't think Bill O'Brien would be. I think he talks back.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he talked back to Bill though. He talked back to Brady. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh God, that could be ugly.
Very quickly, Will, and then we'll get to Mac Jones. Will in Hawaii. What's up, Will?
Oh, how you guys doing? You
Good.
took my call.
Yeah, you on the beach?
Aloha.
Are you on the beach, Will?
I'm not. I'm actually in my backyard.
Are you hanging 10?
Say again.
Are you hanging 10?
It's Christmas Eve.
The
Can we
Maui-
let him get his point out, and then we can all go home?
Maui wow.
You
Yeah,
can act like a
hanging
man.
10.
Now, here's the thing, guys. You took my call at the perfect time because since we're all discussing what we want, okay,
Yeah.
I want Bailey Zappi. All right, so that's point number one. The second point is you guys already kind of hit on it. I don't want Mac Jones's numbers to confuse people out there. I don't, because there was kind of a sleight of hand in this game.
Yeah, we're not. We're not going to.
Yeah, we just talked about that.
Yeah,
Will
that won't happen.
Exactly. Thank you guys, because I heard that. And the second thing I wanted to say is, as much as I want Bailey Zappi to play, I did not want him to come in at the half, even as bad as Mac Jones looked, because I don't want Bailey Zappi to have the sloppy seconds. I want him to start. I want him to get a full week with the starters, because when he's done that this year, it is the only, and I repeat, the only time I felt good about this team all year is when Bailey Zappi started.
That's fair, Will. It's fair, and if you want to extrapolate that, 1 week isn't even enough. Zoe's talked about this a lot. You need 3 weeks. You need 3 weeks to kind of get into that rhythm and do a week's worth of prep, and then kind of go back on what you did wrong in that week and kind of do it again. 3 weeks. So that it's done for this
Started
season.
too late.
It's done for this season.
Don't even look at him.
We're not. we won't even talk about Bailey Zappi. And instead, we're gonna talk about Mac Jones and hear from Mac Jones right now.
Mac, with about 6.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, the team had a total of about 70 yards total offense. Obviously, you finished with 285, which means a lot of offense in the last 20 minutes or so of the game. What clicked? Was it different play calling, personnel groupings? What clicked in your eyes?
Yeah, I think obviously a tough loss for us here. Definitely things I want to do better, and just got to keep working, got to watch the film and keep working together. I think we didn't quit. We fought hard, and at the end of the day, we got to score more points, and we got the ball moving a little bit, but I just want to capitalize and score more points. So falls on me as a quarterback, and super disappointed, but also a lot to look back on and realize that we have fighters on this team. And that's tough to say in a loss, but we do. We have fighters on this team. I thought everybody on our offense and defense and special teams fought to the end, and yeah.
Mac, just your interpretation of what led to the unsportsmanlike penalty on you at the end?
Yeah, I think obviously there's a little bit of a, pile there, and then the ball squirted out actually into another pile. So I went over there and tried to grab the ball to, save the game. So at the end of the day, you got to take your chance and try and get the ball. You got to compete for the ball because it's a live ball until somebody holds it up in the air. So you got to go get it, and that's what I tried to do. And yeah.
Hey, Mac, we saw the impact that Kendrick had when he was a focal point of the offense. Why do you think those opportunities where he's been getting the ball consistently in big situations like that have come so few and far between, especially when it comes to throwing downfield?
Yeah, I think KB is just he's a great teammate, and he's one of my closest friends. Every time I've seen him, he's had a smile on his face, even in a situation like that. At the end of the game where we're trying to fight back and there's a lot of pressure, he's in there kind of smiling like, let's go do this, So when you see that from a guy, and I'm saying the same stuff in the huddle, I want to look for a guy like that who wants to compete and play with effort. So thought he's one of those guys, and we have all those guys. The receivers did a great job. Obviously had some tight end injuries, and hope those guys are okay. And the running backs competed, and Scotty went in there. Obviously did a great job. That's a tough situation as a guy who hasn't played all year jumps in there. So thought the O-line did good, and just super disappointed and gonna watch it. You gotta watch the tape and grade yourself as an individual, and then grade yourself as an offense and as a team. So we're gonna do that. I think we just gotta move on from it.
Mac, when you've had a lot of crazy finishes this year as a team. When you look at this one, 3 timeouts in the red zone, chance to score. Obviously, it's frustrating, but when you look back on it, it must be hard to believe you guys didn't punch it in there, right?
Yeah, I think first of all, no one probably believed that we would come back from 22 points, but we fought and we're right there, right? You score and it's a totally different game. So it's a tough situation. Just got to execute better, falls on me, and do things better. then when we get the ball back, just at that point you got to have better execution. Got to know where to go, got to know where to throw it. In that situation, there's not a lot of time, so just the same thing. Just got to learn from it and be better at situational stuff, and starts with me.
Hi, Mac. How do you feel Marcus Jones has been a spark for you guys on all sides of the ball?
I mean, yeah, he's just ridiculous. Great player, great teammate, explosive, lines up, runs full speed on offense, lines up, goes full speed on defense. Same thing on special teams. So, love the guy. I'm bummed when you have a great performance like that we can't pull out the win. So, he's a great person, great player, and we got a lot of good dudes like that on our team. So, it's tough when you lose, but falls on me as the quarterback, and got to do things better. So.
I know you're running and rolling out there. Did you actually see the tip on the Jacoby Myers touchdown?
Yeah, it's just a great play. So it was good to see. That's an example of competing, right? Scotty jumps up there, tries to make a play. Then Jacoby's right there waiting for it. So, and the offensive line on that play, when you watch it, did a great job of just competing, right? I roll this way, I roll that way. They're throwing blocks left and right. So love that for those guys. And at the end of the day, just came up short in other situations, and got to get off to a faster start, and maybe the game's a little bit different. So definitely disappointing.
Hey, Mac, it looked like you guys were rolling with a lot of 12 personnel initially. Hunter obviously goes down. Did his injury almost kind of put you in a pickle there, knowing that might have been a big part of the game plan?
Yeah, I think Hunter's one of our best players. Same with Jonnu, and when they're on the field together, it puts matchup issues on the defense. And once again, Scotty steps in there, hasn't played all year. Probably didn't expect to be in that situation, but he planned for it and did the best he could. So just proud of those guys. It shows you that that group is really well coached, and all of our guys are. So we just got to do better and execute the plays better and all that stuff.
Mac, on the 48-yard touchdown pass, just how much pride do you put, in yourself to just be able to make a throw like that?
There we go. We're getting into the weeds now of the how well some of these players are coached, and I can only take so much of that.
Wow,
especially on Christmas
Hardy's
season.
had enough.
Well, come on, it shows you how well coached they are. I have a question that's brought up twice on the emails here that I want to ask you when we return about a player.
You're actually going to read an email?
Wow.
It's hurtful.
He gets
Christmas
very
Eve.
upset. Fred, you can't do that.
Why not?
He's not like you. He doesn't let it roll off his back.
He has a thin skin.
Yeah, he's a very thin-skinned.
He's a
radio,
thin mint.
Now the show is done.
Radio personality.
Look at him.
I have
Usually
a question.
He drops his pen from here.
Yeah.
He's on double Tamiflu too. Come on.
Oh, that's true. He is playing
you're not
hurt
feeling
today.
good?
He's playing hurt.
He sounds fine.
I had the flu for 6 hours last night. It's the strangest flu I've ever had in my life.
The whole store got the flu
whole
for 6 hours.
I'll tell you the story during the break, but then I will ask a question that's been brought up a couple of times on email about a player that needs to be benched, according to a couple of emailers here, not named Mac Jones. That and the final thoughts on today's loss to the Bengals coming up next.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes cyber reason. End cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
$1 million? For picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Still believe in Santa Claus, don't you, Mike?
Still believe in culture.
You still believe in the right 53, not the
if
best
you're
53.
Paul, if you're a good kid, they just bring you the presents.
It's the right one.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
All right, we got Craig in New Jersey. We've got another one from Tommy here, and then we finally have this. It's Craig in Hoboken who said, look, this is a second fireable offense for Ramondre Stevenson. It was the fumble last week. It was the lateral last week. And then we have an emailer saying, look, up until today, I would have said, get rid of everybody on this team that you want to. Keep Marcus Jones because he's fun and Ramondre Stevenson. Now I can't make a case for Ramondre Stevenson. How bad have these last couple of weeks been for Ramondre?
He's under the radar right now. I feel like he's getting overshadowed. But like I said at the top, I think they're key plays, game-deciding plays. I mean, it's the kind of thing that doesn't inspire trust in you going forward.
It was Chad in Atlanta who said, I would have said Stevenson, but now I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know?
He's just done so much. I mean, without him, where would we be? As bad as it is.
Probably 7 and 8.
No, I can't.
That was Paul's snark.
You know,
let me have my snark.
We put so much of the load on him.
I think that's why people are hesitant to kill him. I mean, he didn't really get killed last week either, but I haven't really been on Twitter, but
I did think he flew under the radar last week for starting the tomfoolery.
He did. He started it all.
Yes.
This to me, I don't put at the level of last week. Last week was stupid. This is a fumble. Like, it happens. It can't happen in that, put him at the top of the bad list. He cost you a chance to steal a game. Yeah. But, I mean, is that a symptom of we need to get rid of this guy?
It's a symptom of the whole team.
I think that's a little strong.
It is.
Okay. Final thoughts on the game and also final thoughts on the year. The next time we meet up, it will be 2023. So use this as an opportunity for your year-end thoughts. Mike Dussault, would you please begin?
I will, just because I feel like we saw a terrible loss in 2022 against the Bills in the playoffs. And as I said at the top of the show, this season has felt like a continuation of this into 2022. 2 games left, two teams that have owned the Patriots over the last 2 years plus. So, on one hand, I'm glad that this is who this team is, but they're going to be out of the playoffs, and there's going to be major changes needed on offense. And we'll see. I don't know what can happen in these last 2 games, what kind of fight they're going to show, but 2 teams that are going to need wins, that know how to beat them. It could get worse, unfortunately.
It could. Fred.
Yeah, I mean, everything that Deuce said, there's going to be major changes to the offense in the off season.
Yeah. I felt like if you were going to pull off an upset today, your offense was going to have to play in a way that they hadn't really shown all year, and they didn't. And Fred's right. You need changes, and in some ways, I think they needed changes no matter what. So I didn't necessarily want to see it all of a sudden click these last 3 weeks and possibly lead to Bill Belichick saying, "See, I told you, just stay the course." It was getting there. I knew this was going to happen. No, they have fundamental problems. Their offense is broken.
I mean, just look around the NFL. There's a lot of teams, and I'm looking at one right now, the Commanders. Heineke's not a great quarterback, but they're scoring points. They're competitive.
They're finding ways to. I mean, they do have an outstanding defense, but they're finding ways to stay in games.
Yeah,
he's a gamer.
There's a lot of teams that don't have great quarterbacks, but in the NFL, you can score points. You can pass like a normal NFL team. We're just not there.
No,
I mean,
not close.
It was for the majority of that game. You didn't get past the 50.
I mean, the Bengals
never got into Bengals territory.
The Bengals are a good team. They have a pretty good defense, but it's not a great defense.
No.
And we could barely muster 12 points, and 6 of them were like a Hail Mary tip play.
Right.
So like really 6 real points.
It was 6 points again
on offense. I mean, that's not acceptable in the NFL.
Guys,
I don't care who your quarterback is.
It's
not acceptable.
Hold on.
You're getting me all upset now.
Yeah. And right out of the gate, you had all this time to prepare for another big game. I mean, this is just, and like they don't even fool you. They don't even come out and like, hey, they scripted a drive well right out of the gate, and it doesn't even get to that point. They come out, they look like crap.
I'm mad, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
There is one player on the team who has more touchdowns than Marcus Jones. That sentence.
It's
speaks for itself.
unacceptable.
Yeah.
The defense has as many or close to as many touchdowns as Mac Jones has throwing touchdowns.
6 or 7.
Defense,
right?
I think, has 6 touchdowns, but Stevenson has 6 touchdowns on the season. And Marcus Jones has 3.
The defensive guy.
It's not acceptable. And I'm hoping that when it's
sorry.
all said and done,
Myers had 1 today, so Myers has 4.
when
now.
it's all said and done, and Robert has his end of season meeting with Bill, Bill says those words. This was not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And then my next question, if I'm Robert, is okay. We agree. What are you going to do about it?
And that's not quite where we will begin when we meet up again on the 1st of January. But it's something to start to look forward to. As the next time we meet up, it will be 2023, and it'll be Week 17.
Week
and
from tomorrow.
We'll see what the Patriots can come up with here for their final 2 games of the season. Thank you to everybody involved in the show today. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. Your final score for the final time, Patriots 18. Bengals 22. That's for you, Paul.
Scorigami.
Thank you for listening and watching.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.